Hello, everyone. Today, for the final speech, I'll be talking about immunizations, also known as vaccines, the importance of them, and about some shots. I find it very important to always get your vaccinations, or whatever you want to call them, immunizations. Um, it's so important because then you're protected, not only from other diseases, but other people, as it's always a recommendation. Like if you say you go to your doctor's office, or even when you're an infant, your parents get the choice whether to get you vaccinated. There are so many different immunizations for children nowadays that they don't have a say. So it is always the parent's choice whether to get their child vaccinated. Obviously, being in the medical field, everyone recommends and it highly advises parents to have their children vaccinated because there's so many different diseases and it can make your child very sick. Also, some people decide not to get their children vaccinated, whether they can't afford it, they don't have access to any healthcare or places to get the vaccination, or it could be religious beliefs. There's so many different reasons why they could opt against getting their child vaccinated. It could be that they don't fully understand everything that's going on, whether about the vaccines themselves and the outside world. Some people are not up to date, as you would say, about everything that's going on. I know us healthcare goers, whether in the medical field, nursing, everyone knows that vaccines are always the go-to. That's why it's our job as nurses or healthcare employees to always advise our clients and teach them. You have to teach. Teaching is the most important tool when being a healthcare employee. So if they don't fully understand what they're getting their child into, obviously they're not going to have them vaccinated. So always do handouts or anything that will opt them to get it, because the more people that are vaccinated, the better. Because like I said, those who aren't vaccinated pose a risk of then potentially getting a illness or a disease. And then if they get it, they could always transfer it to somebody else. But if you have the vaccine, you're protected. It's like you're in a bubble or a shell. Nobody can touch you. But even if somebody doesn't have the vaccine and there are a big group of people, say, everybody is protecting that one individual who decided to opt out. There are so many different vaccines, whether it protects you when you're younger, older, you're always getting vaccines. Sometimes you have to get multiple, or you have to redo and get like a booster shot. Vaccines, like I said, help protect yourself as well as everybody else around you from other infectious diseases. The shots are given at different ages while you're growing up, and some your parents have a say, and others you have a say as you grow up. The illnesses are preventable by vaccines, and those who decide not to get the immunizations have an increased risk for getting an infectious disease. Preventing the disease is easier than treating it. Treating a disease, obviously, itself, just say it out loud, it sounds difficult. So why not just get the shot to protect yourself? Those diseases include measles, influenza, which is known as like the flu shot that you're all advised to get every year so that you don't get sick, hepatitis, tuberculosis, malaria, tetanus, meningococcal vaccine, varicella, and there's so many other vaccines out there that will help protect you. Immunizations are the reason over the years millions of lives are saved. And because so many people have gotten vaccines, there are a decrease in the need for certain ones because we no longer need them for our children. All right, so say you become sick. Your body produces what's called antibodies to fight off the sickness the next time that your body recognizes the illness. When you get a vaccine, you're being given a small amount of the antigen, the same thing, but it's killed or it's weakened. So it's not going to harm you. It's just helping you protect yourself and your body from something that could potentially harm you. This way, your body is able to produce the antibodies. The antibodies then would be able to recognize the illness if it's ever in contact with it. So this way, like I said, it protects you in a bubble. The antibodies would be able to fight it off faster and more effectively. This is done so your body becomes immune to that illness or disease. Immunizations are protecting your body from the different diseases that are out there in the world. If you're not vaccinated and you become in contact with the disease, your body may not be strong enough. We don't know what our body can withstand. So say you become sick, and because you didn't get the vaccination, you become so sick that maybe your body can't fight it off, and you're going to wind up losing your life because you didn't get a shot. Parents say that immunizations are unsafe for their child, but the FDA closely examines each vaccine to ensure it is safe before it obviously goes out in the market for people to get. There are all different vaccines that people can get. Those who are unvaccinated obviously have a high risk of getting sick. And because they have a high risk of getting sick, who knows, they could get sick and then potentially get somebody else sick. So for giving shots when getting the vaccine, there are multiple different ways you can do it. You can actually take certain ones. I think they do like nasal spray now. I believe you can do for flu shots. But there's also ones that are called intramuscular, subcutaneous injections, and there is the intradermal. So each one specific to various vaccines that are out there and available for people to get. The intramuscular injection actually is absorbed faster than the subcutaneous injection. This is because the muscle tissue has a greater blood supply than the tissue under the skin. Muscle tissue can also hold a large volume of medication than compared to the subcutaneous tissue. So I have this little clip art I found that I find very informative. So there's this. As you can see, the intramuscular goes right deep. It goes further down. So you're going right into the muscle. The subcutaneous is going right above the muscle, so into the subcutaneous layer. Then you have the intradermal all the way over here, so it's going on a slant, so right into the dermis of the skin. I find this very informative and helpful for visualizing if you don't understand vaccines or how to give a shot. There are all different ways, angles, whether you do it in the tissue or the muscle. So, and obviously there's different gauges based on the type of injection that you were giving. The needle gauge for intramuscular injection is 22 to 25. A decision on needle length and site of injection must be made for each person on the basis of the size of the muscle, the thickness of the adipose tissue, and the injection site where the deltoid muscle is. So, examples of vaccines that you would get in the intramuscular are like HPV, hepatitis A and B. There's something called Tdap, so it also protects you from tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, which is known as the whooping cough, and also as the flu. Then there is the subcutaneous injection, which is administered at a 45-degree angle, as we saw in the picture, usually into the thigh of an infant that is less than 12 months and upper outer tricep area of person that are over the age of 12 months. Subcutaneous injections may be administered into the upper outer tricep area. And the gauge for that is 23 to 25 sized needle, which is inserted into the subcutaneous tissue. Some examples of those are MMR, varicella, which is known as the chickenpox. I highly advise vaccines to anybody if they always need information. Don't be afraid to go and get it. I hope everyone liked my video. Thank you.